House Speaker Paul Ryan is standing by the House Intelligence Committee chairman. We spoke with Ryan yesterday in the Speaker's ceremonial office in Washington and asked him what he knew about Nunes' unnamed source and the other evidence he's seen. Now, this is his first extended interview since the failed effort to replace Obamacare. And we also asked about the next step for the Republican health care bill. Ryan insisted his party isn't giving up. Let me first ask you about Chairman Nunes, the head of the House Intelligence Committee. You were among the first that he briefed. What did he tell you?
He had told me that like a whistleblower type person had given him some information that was new, that spoke to the last administration and part of this investigation. He briefed me about it, didn't know the content of it, only knew the nature of it, and that he was going to brief others.
Did you ask to see the documents yourself?
He didn't have the documents, so I didn't.
Did you encourage him to then go tell the president about it?
No, but I told him to just add it to his investigation.
So you at no time said, whatever you find out, you should probably go tell President Trump about it?
Oh, he was going to brief everybody. I already knew he was going to go and brief. So what Chairman Nunes said is he just came into possession of new information that he thought was valuable to this investigation, and that he was going to go and inform people about it.
But he hasn't. I mean, he hasn't even informed other Republicans on the committee.
I haven't seen the actual documents. I don't know that he's been in possession of them yet. Let me say this. It's very important that we allow and encourage whistleblowers to talk to Congress.
Can you just help me understand this, though? Because if it's a whistleblower, why wouldn't that information then be shared with the Democrats on the committee and even the other Republicans who haven't seen it?
I don't know the answer to that question. You'd have to ask that person. I don't even know who this is.
I mean, you're a member of the Gang of Eight. You can see the most classified intelligence that our government has, right? You could request this information.
Yeah, we want this information to be provided to Congress, and we're waiting for it to be provided to Congress.
Do you know if President Trump is under investigation himself for ties to Russia?
I have no knowledge of that. I do not believe that that's the case.
So if we don't know that,
well,
do you think
I won't speak for the FBI, but I've never seen any suggestion or any evidence that that's the case.
So here's my question. If we don't know if President Trump is under investigation, why would it then be appropriate for a member of an oversight committee to then go brief the president?
Yeah, but I don't believe that he is. So I don't think that he is under investigation. No one has suggested that he is, and not even in a vague way. I don't believe that he is.
Let's talk about health care. You promised to repeal Obamacare for 7 years. Your bill didn't survive 3 weeks. What happened?
Well, it hasn't survived yet. What happened is we are going through what I would call a very painful growing pain. I'd like to see the growth at the end of that pain, which is we've been an opposition party for 10 years. And I've been long saying, if we're going to be successful, deliver for the American people, improve people's lives, we've got to become a proposition governing party. About 90% of our members are for this bill. We're not going to give up after 7 years of dealing with this, after running on a plan all of last year, translating that plan into legislation, which is what this is.
Okay, so what's the plan B?
Well, Plan B is we keep talking to each other and figure out how we get to yes and how we get this bill passed.
So you're not changing the policy. You're just putting more pressure.
No, we're listening to people. And if we can make improvements to this bill, all the better. So if improvements can be made to this legislation that get people to yes, that's great.
The president said that maybe he wishes he didn't do health care first now. Do you regret that, too, that you did health care?
Not at all, because we could not have done tax reform first for a whole host of reasons. Whether tax reform gets $1 trillion easier if we do health care first. If you want me to explain.
No, I understand it.
Okay,
yeah.
And then, but the other problem is we literally didn't have the time to write a tax bill yet. The House is the only one with a plan right now. The White House is still working on a plan. The Senate doesn't have a plan. So it is inconceivable that we would have been able to write a tax reform bill and into law before summer.
And we're going to have more of this interview in the 8 o'clock hour. I asked him if it's still inconceivable. Does the timeline still hold? Because they need the $1 trillion in taxes revenue from Obamacare in order to make tax reform revenue neutral. It's still a key point.
They've got to have the money from reforming health care to pay for immigration. I mean, to pay for
tax reform. Yeah, for tax reform.
For tax reform.
Do they plan to work with Democrats to get it done?
Well, I asked, because as you know, President Trump has said, let's work with the Democrats. I asked Paul Ryan that. He said, I worry we're going to push the president into working with Democrats. He says he doesn't want to work with Nancy Pelosi. He wants to get his own conference in line to vote for Obamacare.
John Boehner would say good luck on that.
Yes. A lot of people would say good luck on that.
So we have a lot more about his relationship with President Trump, also what he gave up for Lent, an interesting story about that. That's all coming up in the next hour.
Looking forward to it.
Nice exchange.